Good morning, Softball America. It is September 17th, 2025, and we are thrilled, delighted, and just beyond blessed to be back on this feed. Gray Robertson, Tara Henry. Tara, hello. How are you, my friend? Welcome back to the United States of America.
Good morning. I'm doing really, really well. Still balancing my sleep schedule. Being back from Prague, but just so happy to be here, so happy to see you and talk some softball because we've got a lot to cover. And we've been gone for 2 weeks. Sorry, you guys. My bad. It's my bad.
It's okay. Look, you were busy. No one's mad at you for Chex Notes winning a medal, which we will get to in just a moment. But first, hello to everyone. The chat is open. We would love to hear from you. We've already seen James pop in. Rebecca, good morning. We're happy that you're here. If you are watching on the YouTube, just send us a message. Let us know where you're watching, where you're listening, how you're spending your Wednesday morning. We'll flash it up on the screen. Here, I'll show you right now. There's Rebecca's message. Morning. Got you guys on in the background while I work. Thank you. That's what we'll do. So let us know where you're watching, who you are, how you're paying attention, and we will put it up on the screen. And Tara, if they're on the YouTube page or really any, let's be real, I don't want to be too specific, any Softball America social page, the Gram, the Twitter, the Facebook, what should they be doing?
Please like and subscribe. If you're on Twitter, you can just repost this as well to try and get as many people on here to talk some softball. Again, we will go over Europeans. We will talk about some recruiting news. We will talk about the SEC schedule, which I know Gray has a lot to say about it. But if you are on YouTube, please like and subscribe. We've got Xavier joining us too. So
good morning. My pickleball pal. Hello, Xavier.
Yeah. Good morning to everybody. Again, let us know where you're tuning in from. And thank you guys for being here.
I just want to say, I don't know if we ever address this, but I would like to. Every minor city, every middle of the road city in America needs to have a chicken and pickle. Just saying.
I mean, so those that didn't go to the chicken and pickle in Oklahoma City, I am telling you, next year you've got to do it. Or if you've got one in your city, it was so fun.
It was so fun. And can I tell you a little secret, Tara?
Yeah, so many activities.
So we have now formulated, there's a group chat and everything, kind of a pickleball club here in Tuscaloosa with people from softball and gymnastics and a couple other sports. Basically everybody who's not quote unquote in season right now. And we play on Wednesday nights. So that's like my real cardio for the week. And I'm really, really excited. So gang, if you're watching, see you tonight.
Wait, tonight? You're playing tonight?
Yeah. You want to come? Make the drive.
I mean, it's really not that far. I mean, it's like what? Hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours?
Not an hour and a half.
Hour and a half for a stop and then another hour and a half. Oh my gosh, look at where everybody's tuning in from. I love it.
Yeah, let's
say good morning.
We got John Fickner up in here, faking I'm working while I listen from Rochester, New York. Thank you, sir. Jersey Kelly on Twitter. Morning. Got you running in the background while doing some studying from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Nice.
I love that. We got Ross Davenport, excuse me, watching in Coral Springs, Florida. Big thanks to Tara for her efforts with GB this summer, and congrats on the bronze. We have more messages to flash, but stay tuned. That will be our first topic. We've got D from Bartlesville, Oklahoma. We've got Connie from Norman, Oklahoma. And round of applause, the legend is here, Fang Nai. Hello, sir.
He's here, Fang. Oh my goodness. They're all here. The gang's all here. I love it. Good morning, everybody.
We're grateful that you're tuning in. And again, I'm going to, let's see. Here we go. Ross Davenport, just putting this back up. Big thanks to Tara for her efforts with GB this summer, and congrats on the bronze. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, our first pitch of the show. Tara's time overseas. Team Great Britain wins a bronze. Italy won gold. Netherlands won silver. GB gets the bronze. Let's talk softball first, and then I want to hear about the trip, because I know that Prague was unbelievable, and some of the videos that your social team put out looked incredible.
Yeah. First and foremost, you know this, Gray, and I think those that have watched this podcast or listened to it know how much international softball means to me and this program, this team. Gosh, my heart is so full. And we went through adversity and suffered some pretty hard, tough losses, but I just love everything about this program. I love every single person that was with us on tour this year. And at the end of the day, the goal was to medal at the competition and to advance to the World Cup next year. So huge to come back. We had lost to Spain the night before, and really a heartbreaker, Gray. I've seen and watched and been a part of a lot of games, and up 3-0 and then give up 6 runs in the 7th. It's one of those things where you can't really stop the bleeding, but to come back the next day and ultimately go at Spain and get that bronze medal, I'm so proud of this team and this squad. And it's just a lot of hard work that goes on behind the scenes. We've got an incredible support staff. We've got tons of support from UK Sport. And our ability to then come out on the field and be able to do what we do is because of all those people. But incredible coaching staff, incredible athletes. We had 17 athletes with us. And again, this is a team that loves one another and loves to play for one another. And as a coach, that is the greatest joy. Yes, the wins and losses are something that we all account for. But when you're with a group that genuinely enjoys one another, it just makes the experience that much better. And just had some huge performances. Peyton Monticelli's first time in a Great Britain uniform. Jazzy Francic, Laura Harai, who's been a part of the program on and off forever, her first cap on the women's team. And then Mackenzie Langen, who was with us in Dublin but had not gone on the field. So just a lot of firsts, a lot of hard work that went into ultimately securing that bronze medal. But can't say enough about the team, the coaching staff. Nate Headley has joined, Patty Ruth Taylor, Stan Doney, who had coached significantly in European softball, and then our support staff and our performance director and Gary Anderson, Katie Gould, David Inman, Alan Dean, and Chris Knobloch. So just want to say thank you to everybody that helped make that program go. And I'm really, really excited for the future.
It was really fun to track the results. I don't think I even told you I was doing this, but I would get the alerts on the Team GB Twitter, and then I would find the live box score. And I think it was the Greece game where it was 0-0 for a while, and then all of a sudden, boom, 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 6 runs and maybe the 4th or 7 runs in the 4th or something. And watching the play-by-play come in, I was like, I know Tara's just like, yep, pass the baton. This is what we do. Can I ask you about the pitching staff? Because you mentioned Peyton Monticelli. She threw incredible, and we've seen flashes of that capability in her time at Oklahoma. She's now going to LSU. But how did you and the staff kind of manage having Coric and Jazzy and Peyton all as options who are, frankly, in a lot of ways pretty different as a trio?
Yeah, very different. I mean, obviously, Georgina Koric has been just a staple for this program. And I remember when it had taken over, and I said to her, I was like, we're going to get you some help because she was shouldering a ton of the load. So, uh, and this is, I think, the lowest she's thrown in terms of innings thus far in a European championship. I believe she's only at 19, but using Peyton, she just honestly, I'm really been impressed with her. She was throwing gas, so just a lot of velo up in the zone, and then you've got Jazzy who can mix speeds, throws multiple speeds, and then obviously you got Georgina, one of the best pitchers in the world, player or pitcher of the year in the AUSL. So using that trio was just in working with Patty Ruth Taylor, figuring out how we did that was really interesting. In the Italy game, we had Jazzy at first, so we could easily switch them back and forth. So it just allowed us to go more matchups, which was really cool because George would go over and play first and Jazzy would go over and play first. So it was just nearly a timeout switching position. So that was really cool to kind of, I know you're laughing.
How very Kelly I of you.
Well, just like to kind of see like what was working, and there were certain times where those matchups worked. And to be honest, we had two pretty horrific innings, but the rest of the tournament, and those will get you. The rest of the tournament, we played pretty solid, and so. Again, working with that pitching staff, I was honest with them. Mackenzie Langen's a part of it, as well as Elena Clark-Wilson, who are a bit younger and were going to be used for matchups. But having those three arms in the circle sets a very, very solid foundation for the next couple years for us. And again, they're selfless. They work well with one another. We've had Kara Edwards behind the dish, Mia Kruger, and Amy Hartle. So we have three catchers that are available. So the battery just really fun to work with and figure out right now what that kind of looks like in the next couple years. And again, I'm just really excited where we're at. And I know we're not even close to our ceiling. So again, yeah, very fun to work with that pitching staff.
All right, real quick, and I know this was a different kind of trip from most of your softball trips. You're focused on one team, you're scouting, you're putting together game plans. But if I may ask you to take off your GB hat and put on your Softball America hat, what other stars at this event that, people maybe who weren't tracking all the box scores, what other stars really made an impact for various teams in the European Championships?
I was really impressed with Ava Wortman, a left-hander from the Netherlands. Her game, she just continues to get better and really shut us out. No hit us in our game against the Netherlands was a tough loss, a 1-0 loss. And then if you take a look at Italy, you see a Mac Barbara, who we tried to walk every time there was a base open. Erica Piancastelli, a Bella Dayton. Bella Dayton leads off for Italy. Just a lot of names that you softball fans would recognize. And again, I just encourage you all to expand and watch softball outside the States. And whether it's the European Championships or the league in Mexico or the Japan League, I encourage you to watch that softball, because the more we can get eyeballs on those athletes and those teams across the world, the better it is for our sport.
So you mentioned World Cup next year. Is that the next big event? And when does planning roster-wise go into that? Or is the team from this summer, is that the ideal scenario for next summer?
Yeah, so we'll take a look at, depending on where the World Cup is, they'll announce it, I believe, after the Congress in November. That will either be in Oklahoma City, Prague, or Lima, Peru. So those are the three locations.
Travel's a lot easier to one of those. I'll just say that.
It is. Oh, but I would say July or August in Oklahoma City, a little warm.
Also not fun. Fair.
So we'll take a look at that. I like where our team's at. I think we've got a great solid core. So again, it's shifting and figuring out what that squad looks like. And we've got under 22s for European Championships, which is going to be another fun event. We don't know where it's at, but our under 22s will play in European Championships, and then the group stages for the World Cup will happen in 2026. So those are two big tournaments.
I love it. All right, last thing, and then we can move on. The trip itself, what'd you do? What was Prague like? How was the food? Just walk us through the team and what y'all did while spending some time overseas.
It was amazing. I think Prague is one of the most beautiful cities. I'm right on the water there. We took the train. Well, we actually walked into town, which that walk turned into a really long walk. So it was more of a workout for everybody. We ended up. I remember George and Peyton. We just stopped and had a coffee. I think they were in the middle of this whole line, and they're like, "Hey, can we stop and have a coffee?" Because it got to be a 2-hour walk. So we went into town. We saw the astronomical clock. We went across the bridge. Patty Ruth Taylor and I walked up to the castle on top of the hill. They've got these amazing, I don't know what they're called. I'll have to look it up, but it's a ice cream like gelato cone, but the cone is made of like almost like a cinnamon sugar, like flaked pastry is the actual cone part, and then you get ice cream on top of it, and they'll make them right in front of you. It's beautiful. Like
Excuse
it's
me.
Yes, I know you would have. I've got to remember. I can't remember what they're called, but we were searching for these. So
You know what? I've decided. I've changed my mind. World Cup in Prague. Sorry, OKC. You get enough. Okay, we're
uh,
going to Prague.
and so we got to go into town and hang out and had various meals and dinners, just pretty much close to the hotel. We were really blessed in that we had a mall right next to where we were staying. So easy to go there and go into the food court, get what we needed. But I will say this, you guys, the fields were so impressive. We played at three different fields. We practiced at another one. I just was so impressed. We played at Eagles, Praha, Spectrum, Praha, and the other one's gonna to lose my brain, but they were just incredible. When I say field, like stadium feel with a clubhouse and a restaurant and a bar, it's just like a different way of doing softball. And I must say, I know the parents had a grand time. I don't know if you heard how loud they were in the Spain game, but I'm sure they were at the restaurant beforehand, because it is just an experience. And I will say this: if anybody has a chance to maybe go to a championship, a European championship, I really, really encourage you.
I love that. I love that. What a nice recap. Anything else from the European Championships, Tara? I mean, I know it was a fulfilling experience for you, and can't wait to track the World Cup and everything before then.
No, other than I just hope everybody supports international softball. I think we're at that point, and we know that softball is back in the Olympics and LA 2028. And your support, each and every one of you that's on here, whether it be Great Britain or whether it be Team USA or Team Mexico or Team Canada, Team Netherlands, whatever that may be, I hope you support that part of our sport and international softball, because that's going to help us grow and ultimately be better, and hopefully stay, fingers crossed, stay in the Olympics for Brisbane in 2032.
That's the ideal scenario.
Yeah. So
I love
enough
it.
about that.
Well, let's get back down home and talk about the schedule that dropped in the SEC, because the SEC schedule is here for 2026, and there were a lot of things that jumped off the page. Now, I had been privy to one team's, I bet y'all can guess, but it was interesting to see who everybody else got, and I think, we talk about this all the time. The most important thing in many cases is not who you play, but who you don't play. That's going to be what determines, in a lot of ways, the standings and how the SEC shakes out in 2026. But Tara, I know you were in the thick of it when the schedule hit.
Yep.
Now that you've had a chance to kind of look over it and absorb it all, what stuck out to you?
Well, gosh, I just thinking we do this every year, and we talk about who are the winners and who are the losers. I think last year we thought Georgia was the schedule that was probably the best schedule in the SEC, and we take a look at it. But I know that you've got a great article on the website, and hopefully you all have taken a look at it. But the one that you didn't necessarily mention is Auburn. And I think that that's an interesting slate to me, to see if they can get kind of through those first couple and what Auburn's going to be able to do. But I agree with you. I think Alabama and gosh, I always look at like who plays Texas and who plays Oklahoma.
Right.
Like, I know that everyone's like, oh, you're in the SEC now, but look at and see what OU did in their first year in the SEC. Like,
And what Texas did. I mean, like, let's be real, they're not slowing down.
I mean, so when you take a look at that, I agree with you. Bama doesn't play either.
Rebecca's killing me in the chat. And neither does Florida, which stuck out. And Tennessee does not either. Tennessee was so I didn't want to do like with the winners and losers. I wanted to do 3 winners and 3 losers. Alabama, Florida, and Tennessee all have very similar reasons as to why they're winners. Balance, maybe missing some of the other teams that I project to be pretty high in the SEC. So I did not include Tennessee in the article, but I certainly could have. I feel like those 3 teams, just in terms of probably overall strength of the schedule. And again, that is with the caveat of we have not seen a single game in 2026 be played yet. It seems like Alabama, Florida, and Tennessee, because of who is off the schedule, really, really kind of made out like gangbusters. And the weekends that are hard, and they're all hard, but the weekends where you look and like those are the circle matchups, they're not clumped together. They're spaced out well. It's just they're 3 very opportunistic conference slates.
Yes, and I'm laughing at Rebecca because we knew Gray wasn't going to mention Auburn.
Look, that was a running bit on Out of the Box. Please tune in to the Moments Pod if you haven't heard those. Somebody on TikTok accused me of being an Auburn guy because of a tie I wore when I was in high school for my high school's colors, which, whatever.
But I want to hear from you guys on who you think has the most difficult and the easiest schedule in the SEC. Those that obviously read Gray's article, and Gray has this incredible little spreadsheet here with the green and the red shading.
I'm going to be honest. Fang made it.
Fang made this?
Fang made it. I just didn't know how else to put it on there in a short area, so I screenshotted Fang's thing. Fang, shout out to you.
Thank you. I was like, wow, he really has put some thought into this.
Fang's the go. Everything I have is in list format, but if I put it on our rundown, it goes from 1.5 pages to 5 pages. So this is the best way to do it.
Tommy, yes, it is. Yes, that's what it is. I can't even say it. Tredilink cone. See where Tommy is in there?
Yeah, turtleneck, turtleneck cone.
Yes, I'm gonna get a picture and put it up on the podcast next week. It's delicious.
Yeah,
it's delicious.
So send us questions about teams and their slates that you want to talk about. I see Annie's comment here. Poor Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Tara, this one's hard. I mean, I think the part that really bums me out for Rachel Lawson in Kentucky is the fact that the bye is the last weekend. And they're hosting the SEC tournament.
Read it out because I agree, Annie. This is just tough.
At Auburn, Florida, at Texas A&M, Georgia, at Oklahoma, Tennessee, at Alabama, Texas at home, bye week. Just all in a row. And like the one, like if again, take it with a grain of salt. Auburn is probably the opponent that's going to be ranked the lowest in the preseason poll, and they have to open with them at Auburn. Like there's not a break here. I mean, it's a tough one.
That's a great question, Fang, and I was just going to address it. If I was Rachel Lawson, I'm sorry. Like, I know people say you got to schedule difficult in the preseason, pre-conference games. I would not be scheduling. I would be getting some W's because it's going to be that schedule is a gauntlet.
Yeah, and they've known this is coming because this, the schools have had these schedules for a while now. I think through the next few seasons. So she was probably prepared, and we'll see when the schedule comes out if that is reflected, because it is a Kentucky team already that is trying to kind of coalesce, I guess, like for lack of a better term, and get back to where they were a few years ago. Last season, just it wasn't meshing very well. And They lost some people in the portal and to graduation, so there's just a lot that Rachel Lawson will have to do in the non-conference because this schedule's hard, very very hard.
It's looking just, it's almost unbelievable when you take a look at that schedule. It's that, yes, I think when those actual full schedules come out and what they do in terms of tournament play and getting ready for the SEC, again, we saw this last year with Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
And how, I don't know. I also think that that's a dumb rule, but I'm not on the committee. Having to be 500.
Who else stuck out to you?
Well, we went over Alabama, LSU, Tennessee.
Well, all right, I'll mention why I like LSU's schedule, because I'm sure some people, if they didn't read the article and they just, that happens. They're probably like,
read it?
Why is LSU on here? So they open the first four in the SEC are very hard. At Tennessee, Texas A&M, at South Carolina, Oklahoma. Those are the first four series. That is not easy at all.
When I saw that from you, I'm like,
but what do we know? What do we know about LSU? Typically, when they have their issues, it's in the back half of the season. They've actually started conference play pretty strong through the last 6-7 years. So if they can kind of tread water, I guess, kind of, survive the first four, the last four series are Missouri at home, Ole Miss at home, at Mississippi State, and Auburn at home. Mississippi State probably the toughest one in that quartet there. But, I mean, if they can hold the line in the first four, the opportunity in the back half of the conference slate is there to go and win this league, because that's probably the least straining back half of a conference slate that you'll see this year in the league. Again, depending on what some of those teams do, but it just seems like the most opportunistic back half for sure.
Yes, back half, but you got to get through the front half first,
right? And it's contingent, right? Because if they bomb the front half, then how you do in the back half will just determine seeding. But like I said, if they can get through, 6-6, that first half, 5-7, 7-5, they can win this conference. Like those are all sweepable.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about winning the series, right? And making sure that you don't get swept if you don't. Like, I think that's the key, is being able, like, towards the end, are you able to keep that grittiness? Let's say you drop 2 and still pick up that third game, because that's going to matter. Those are those tight matchups that are going to matter at the end of the year. When you take, so Georgia's schedule, OU's schedule, South Carolina opens with Texas, then they've got a bye, then LSU, Mississippi State, Tennessee, Florida, Missouri, Texas A&M.
Let me just say that at Mississippi State, at Tennessee double is very tricky, especially coming right after LSU. That at Mississippi State, that's a classic sandwich spot. That's a classic sandwich spot where you might perform well at home against LSU, go to Starkville, and then whoops, we lost the first 2 games of the series. We got to salvage game 3 with Tennessee on deck. This is not what I would call a balanced schedule. You got some really tough stretches in there.
Yeah, tough stretches. And then obviously having to play LSU, Florida. Wait, I'm on the wrong one. Texas, LSU, Tennessee, Florida, and Texas A&M.
And at Rhodes, which is not great because South Carolina, I think they've won 1 series, maybe, in Rhodes.
Wait, South Carolina plays at Bama?
Yeah, to close the regular season.
Oh, it must be cut off here.
Oh, whoops. Sorry. But yeah, at Alabama is the last weekend.
I'm on week 8 only. Is there a 9?
Oh, yeah, there's a 9. Sorry. Whoops.
You're like, wait a second.
But I will say that is always something that I'm looking at when the schedule comes out is, all right, who do I think are contenders and who do they close with? Last year, one of the reasons why I picked Texas to win the league inaccurately, but why I liked the slate was because they were closing with a Kentucky team in Austin that I thought, well, shoot, if Texas is in the mix, they sweep Kentucky, they can win this conference. When I look again, I don't love I saw Fang talk about the Oklahoma schedule. I don't love that they close at Texas A&M. If they're trying to close out the league, that's a very, very, very tough opponent to do so. Now, they won the league last year on the last weekend when they lost the series to Florida.
Yeah.
So all that math was kind of wonky, but if it came down to the last weekend, I would not love that matchup if I'm Oklahoma, having to play in College Station against those fans who get real rabid at Davis Diamond. That's a tough one.
And that's a team that's going to be chomping at the bit from a season ago. I think that team's going to be on a mission and going to be ruthless in their pursuit of not having what happened last year happen again.
Yeah. And then the other one that sticks out is Tennessee closing at Missouri. That, like, a lot of the teams that I feel are top half in the SEC, they close with hard series or against each other. And Tennessee at Missouri feels like kind of maybe the quote unquote easiest, but that's not, like, playing at Missouri is a very difficult thing to do. And Coach Anderson is going to have that team fired up after how last year happened. So it's a very entertaining last weekend. I'll say that. Like, a lot of options could be up in the air once we get to that point.
I'm laughing because you say bottom half of the SEC. I take a look at everything and you say winners or losers. And every week, like, anybody can take on anyone. And I think that's why we enjoy watching the game. And I don't know if there is any easier or tougher, depending on, like you just said, Mizzou. Was it Texas A&M that hadn't won a series there on the road, and then went in to Columbia and put up all those runs on Kennedy? Like, it was really difficult for Texas A&M to win there. So again, you take a look at the schedule. We can talk about who is the easiest and who has the toughest, but it all comes down to ultimately winning series and making sure you don't get swept. Making sure you don't get swept, so important.
To the standings, to the committee. I say that every year on our radio broadcast. All the committee cares about is that you don't get swept. If you win one game against an RPI top 5 team, you might say, dadgummit, we lost the series. But you know the committee says, oh, hey, they got one RPI top 5 win. And they really don't care about the losses as long as they don't accumulate too much. But just don't get swept. Just don't get swept. That's the key to it all. Just don't get swept. You'll be fine. Anything else on the schedule that we should look at? One last thing. LSU at Tennessee. Banger opening conference play weekend. This could be great. Can't wait.
I love it. I mean, I just can't wait for softball season to start. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. We got fall ball happening. A lot of teams are starting practice. Fall ball games will begin soon. Early teaser, I guess. We're a couple months away from the. Oh, that's true. They did add the caveat about win percentage. So that is, again, sorry, I have to adjust my thinking. We all have to learn more to consider with the committee. But still, the high percentage wins will matter. Out of the box, softball media days with all the SEC head coaches. We will have that in a couple months. I'm sending emails next month, like a month from today. So yeah, stay tuned. Lots of all that preseason prep that you love on this feed and other feeds happening as we speak. I'm sure like the fall reporting stories that Brady's going to have popping up like crazy are getting underway now, Tara. He's probably starting the research now, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I'm cracking up because Brady just called me and like was asking me to call him. I'm like, Brady, we're on the podcast. But yes, we will get going. Fall reports will be up. We're going to have college fall reports, and we're actually going to take a look at some travel ball teams and get you a little bit more acclimated with some of the new and up and coming rising stars that you're all going to see hopefully one day when they are playing collegiate softball. So yes, fall reports will start soon. We're letting them all settle in. A lot of them aren't in team practice yet, so it's kind of hard to get a feel from the coaches. But once we have a few weeks of team practice in, we'll start rolling those fall reports out. But again, we're in commitment and recruiting rankings at the moment.
Yes, and one last thing to Rebecca's point. Every year with the coaches, we always close with like 2 or 3 fun questions. I got a really good one that is worth the listen once we get to media days that I wrote a couple weeks ago. So, and by I wrote, I mean I saw it in a video and said this would be hilarious. I'm going to ask the softball coaches. So, lots of things that are coming down the pike as it relates to the 2026 season. Let's talk about 2027's recruiting commitments. Hey, are you a 2027? You might be going to LSU. Seems like a lot of them are. UNC is racking up kids. You got the recruiting rankings out. Goose Hutchins is flying to OU. It's been kind of a fast and furious couple weeks, Tara, since September 1st.
Yeah, and what I love most, and it's okay, Brady is driving. That's why he is now listening. I'm talking to him right now. But what I love most is that if you are gone and maybe at the European Championships and need a breakdown of what is happening with the commitments, Brady Vernon has you covered. So if you go on the website, you'll know who was where, who was committed, what they had to say about their visits, and all in the recruiting notebooks, which are a plethora, have a plethora of information. If you're a college coach and wondering where the athletes are going next week, Brady's got you covered. If you're a softball enthusiast and want to know what player was on campus and it's all in one spot, Brady's got you covered. So again, huge commitments, like you said, Gray. Goose is going to OU. LSU's had a ton of commitments. Texas A&M, UNC, Florida, ASU, UCLA picks up some big time commitments. So it's been a quick couple of weeks, but again, really impressed with UNC and Megan Smith-Lyon on who they've been able to pick up. 4-star left-handed pitcher and Molly Munson. And again, we've got all that information up on the website. I'm tracking Aspen Boulware, the #1 recruit. She was at UGA. She is going to visit OU. And Finley Williams, Emma Reynolds. So again, a lot of athletes, and it's all in a nice package with a bow on it on our recruiting notebook. So go over and check it out.
It's so interesting to me, the rise in the publicity of the softball recruiting aspect of this sport. You know, when I first started doing this back in 2017, I felt that way about all the sports. I was like, hit me up when they get on campus and I'll find out about them. Now it's not like that. Calling Alliance games has helped, but I've really enjoyed tracking the journeys, hearing about who's visiting where, kind of seeing and hearing the processes for each school about kind of the way they go about things, how the timing of when you go could be very impactful. Not just, hey, who did this player visit first, but what was going on campus when they visited? How did certain things that were in that environment impact their decision? It's so interesting. And that this was one of the busier opening weekends ever in this space, and it's just going to keep getting busier because there were a lot of commitments early, but if you zoom through the player rankings, you've still got a lot of people in the top 50, top 100 who are still weighing their options and probably making more visits this weekend.
Well, just in looking at our top 10, Gray, like I mentioned, Aspen Boulware, she was at UGA. She's looking at South Carolina, Oklahoma. Goose, #2, she's committed to OU. Finley Williams, OU. Texas Tech, LSU. #4, Coral Williams, committed to UCLA. Kaylee Hodges is looking at Tennessee, LSU. Abby Ford, Michigan, Washington, Oklahoma State. Vivian Knott, left-hander, tall, watched her throw a lot this summer. Northwestern, Oklahoma. Addison DeRoche, she was at Alabama this past weekend. FSU, Oregon, Bama. Maya Matthews is committed to Oregon. She took a visit to Cal, which congratulations to Steve Singleton getting his first recruit at Cal. And then Sydney Gonlick, number 10, is committed to LSU, sorry. Number 10 at LSU. So again, those are the top 10 in 2027s. It's super easy to go onto the website and take a look at where these players are committed. It will say commit, or it'll have their interests on there as well. So it's broken down by percentages. So you can take a look at those top 150 players, where they're committed, what their interests are, where they visited, if they've received an offer. Again, Brady is just incredible and helps us track all of this. And this is how the sport should be covered. I've heard some whispers from some club coaches and travel ball coaches not wanting to share where you're going on a visit. And I encourage each and every one of you to try and understand where our sport is going. If you want it to be covered like basketball and football, you've got to allow these women to then share what they're doing and where they're going, because then that brings more money into it, brings more interest. So I know you all want to keep your perfect little world and how you do things, but I just encourage you to step outside the box and see it from another angle. And what I love is that we're able to have stars, and the only platform that has 5-star athletes and 4-star athletes and available to see and look where players are going. And that just gives the fans more interest in the sport. And again, in turn, eventually more butts in the seats and more dollars to help this sport grow.
I just want to add to that point. Do you know the most common tweet that I saw from Alabama beat writers this past Saturday that was not about the football game?
No.
It was, hey, look at Alabama basketball graduate Mark Sears talking to this basketball recruit on the sidelines of the football game. Everybody was taking a picture, tweeting it, tagging the guy. I would love to see that for softball. It would be great if because it's different when it's like in, fan pages, like, oh, look who I saw on campus. It would be awesome if local media was like, actually, here's Goose Hutchins at an Oklahoma football game, sideline with Patty Gasso and whoever else she was walking around with.
Yep.
Like that's what we would like to see. That's the kind of stuff that we want from this, and that's why we talk about it as much as we do. Also, why should it be a secret where the kids are going? Let them visit where they want to visit. It's fine. Let them commit where they want to commit.
Mark, I'll answer your question. When you take a look at how many players are 5 stars, we're looking at players that have the potential to be immediate impacts or All-Americans. So there's not that many. You're going to take a look at how many 5-star athletes are on there. It would be almost like a first-team All-American. But again, I want to keep going on Gray's point. We have to allow these athletes to have the coverage that they deserve. And trust me, you guys, I'm old school. Like when I see a player in a uniform and they haven't committed there, please believe 3, 4, 5 years ago, I'm shaking my head saying, oh my gosh, how can you put these players in that uniform and they aren't even committed? But it matters. And again, for our sport, if we want more, we have to then continue to grow with it instead of sitting there and saying, oh no, that's not, we got to keep it like it is and put, parameters or guardrails around it. So you're talking to somebody who I didn't like it, but we're to a point where if we want this coverage, we should allow it to help grow the sport.
Amen. Anything else about 27s?
No, if you guys have any more questions, it's up on the website. And again, I really encourage you to read the recruiting notebooks. There's a lot of good tidbits in there. There's a lot of quotes from the athletes on why they chose the schools, those that have committed. And there's some interesting insight as to why athletes like certain programs or like certain visits and what they experience. So Again, shout out to Brady, just doing it all and making sure that you all are starting to know and learn about these athletes who you're going to see on the biggest stage here in the next couple of years.
Also, the 2028 watch list is out.
Oh yeah, I mean, we are rocking and rolling here. We've got the 2028 watch list out that just launched, and we'll have the 2026 re-rank in October, the 2029 watch list in November, and then our final 2025 rank in December. So we've got a whole schedule upcoming. January, we'll re-rank those 2027s. And then in February, we'll have our initial 2028 rankings as well. So just a lot of athletes for everybody to start to get to know. And I'm so excited, Gray, for where we're at in our sport. I really, really am.
Me too. All right. Before I follow through on my word, this is a quick, very brief, but quick. I didn't put this on the rundown. Very brief spin-off moment. Only Murders in the Pod. Only Murders in the Building is back. This is a great show that Tara and I follow. Tara, alert the people need to be watching Only Murders in the Building.
I mean, it is.
That. And I'm going to let you speak on it while I get into position.
Oh, yeah. So just so everybody knows, we do watch Only Murders in the Building. There's a couple of us, Kaylee Tao. Oh, I can hear him getting ready here. Emily Pitek and Gray and I, the four of us, watch Only Murders in the Building. But I think Gray's getting ready for a bet that he lost. He will be tap dancing. So I think he's getting ready to maybe tap dance for you all. And I might tap dance with him. You probably won't be able to see my feet, but you can probably hear some of that. And he did lose a bet. And Alabama lost a football game. And that's why we're waiting to see. I can't even believe that we're sitting here waiting to watch Gray tap dance. But he did lose a bet. And hopefully he's getting ready to tap dance for us. Is that why everybody's here, to watch Gray tap dance? I mean, I think that's why we left it for the end of the show, is to see if he can tap dance. Oh, goodness.
So I don't know what I'm doing. I just want to specify that. But let me make sure it is quite clear what is going on as I stand in my kitchen. Also, you're not going to hear anything. These shoes aren't loud. I just tried it. First off, I never make statements like that. Soccer, that was an exhibition. That didn't count, Fang. But I said that Alabama would not lose to Florida State in football, and if they did, I would tap dance. Shout out to Tommy Castellanos. The man stood on business. Alabama football is, like all teams, allowed to get better as the season goes on, and I do think they are improving. However, I said if Florida State won, I would tap dance on this show. I am not going to be like the Florida State fan a couple years ago who said he would eat or drink a cup of a certain thing that was all over Twitter, and then he didn't do it until Florida State was 0-10, and then he finally did it. I'm not going to be that guy. So, as a man of my word, here we go. I don't know. How do I do this? Do I just put this on my feet? I don't know what I'm doing. Can you even see my feet?
Yeah, I think you know what's going to happen is I'm going to actually teach Gray how to tap dance. You won't be able to see, but tap dancing?
That's like part Irish jig. Let's see.
Yep. Nope.
No?
I think that's good for today's episode.
Okay. I don't know. I didn't rehearse.
At least you tried, you know?
Yes. And now y'all know what my kitchen looks like. So congratulations to us all.
Oh my gosh. Oh, great.
I didn't say I would do it well. I just said I would do it.
Yeah. I'm going to get some tap shoes. We'll do this big for Women's College World Series. See, the people love it. Nice job, Gray.
Thank you. I'm a little sweaty. It was kind of a lot. Okay. I'll just keep the friends off. What's on the website that we haven't already covered that the people can Reading checkout. Don't laugh at me.
Gray, you are the best. Oh.
I had 2 weeks. Xavier, I have other jobs, my friend. I got a volleyball Zoom in 9 minutes.
Oh my gosh. Up on the site, lots of commitments are being announced. Like I said, that recruiting notebook is up there. Maya Matthews, I believe that's how you say her name. I'm going to figure that out. Going to Oregon is up there. And then we've got a spotlight as well, a 2028 spotlight. Loads of info up on there. And then take a look at that 2028 recruiting watch list as well. So lots of info, a lot of recruiting heavy and commitment heavy posts right now on the website. So take a look. Let us know what you think. Let us know what else we can do other than Gray tap dancing on the show as well.
Yeah,
Or
do you want
maybe more of it?
I
Maybe
mean,
more.
it won't get better, but
Yeah. I can't wait to bust out the real tap shoes. This is gonna be fun.
sure. I'm balling on a budget right now. I wasn't about to go drop X amount of dollars on tap shoe. Oh, hi, burner. Way to show up on time. Golly.
Somebody must have texted and told him that the tap dancing has happened.
Oh, great. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, Grant.
He is a man of his word. Gray is a man of his word.
I have a couple skills. Tap dancing, not one of them. And I know, as my mom said at dinner, because she came up to Tuscaloosa and we had a wonderful dinner last night. Other gifts are utilized. James.
I love it. James, you're awesome.
Oh, man. All right. Subscribe, share, do all the things. Put together.
We'll go back to rules next week.
Yeah. There was just too much this week to do it.
Yeah.
Do a rule book club.
Scoring. We got to go to scoring next week. If you guys want a rules show, let us know. Let us know in the chat.
Yeah. We just didn't with volleyball for me this week. I didn't have time to do an hour and a half show. So we'll save scoring for next time. But thanks everybody for tuning in. Tara, any last goodbyes before I press in stream?
No, I just want to thank everybody for being on here and know that you just being on here and starting this conversation and being a part of the conversation is you're part of this ecosystem that is softball and women's sports. So just appreciate each and every one of you for being here and contributing. And again, anything that we can do more coverage wise, please let us know because we're here for you.
Beautifully said. For my wonderful co-host and partner, Tara Henry, I'm Gray Robertson. Thanks for hanging out with us on Good Morning Softball America. We will catch you next week right here on the show. Bye, everybody.